Hey there. All right. So given that you're here, it's likely you have a paper problem with informed consent. And the first thing that I want you to know is that you're not alone. When polled, 89% of hospitals report that they're still totally paper-based when it comes to informed consent. So you're not alone on this issue. So is this a problem that's worth addressing? Well, that's exactly the point of this video, and I'm going to cover 7 problems that arise from paper-based informed consents. And this information can help you form the construct of a common sense business case for e-consent solutions. And by the way, if you want to see a demo on demand of our integrated e-consent solution on your own time without any sales reps, then just click on the big button that says demo on demand and it'll take you to the right place. All right, so let's get into it. Again, here are the 7 biggest problems with paper-based informed consents. Problem number 1, too many consents. So often we see that hospitals are overrun with consents, and in most cases these hospitals have taken the approach of just adding more consents as opposed to taking the time to consolidate these consents. And you know, it makes sense. Whenever you've spent years worth of time using paper for your informed consent process, the number of these consents in circulation can be massive and very, very difficult to manage. All right, so problem number 2, lost consent on the day of surgery. All right, so it's the day of surgery and everyone's ready for the big dance. Your team is going through the checklist in the perioperative area. And when it comes to the informed consent obtained requirement, well, it's nowhere to be found. And this is really where things totally fall apart. Now, it's very common for informed consents to be signed in the surgeon's office, and that's great, but these forms have to find their way to the hospital, which usually means faxing, hand delivery, or in some cases, mail. But this is, of course, a tremendous opportunity for these forms to get lost. And that brings us to problem number 3. Okay, so problem number 3, costly delays in the OR. And guys, this is simple, and I cannot stress this enough. If you're looking for the primary factor for an e-consent business case, you found it. This is it. When forms go missing on the day of surgery, you have to obtain the informed consent from the patient again while they're in the perioperative area, which ultimately causes delays. So here's my question to you. How many times are your operative procedures delayed as a result of missing paper informed consents? Well, according to JAMA, it's an average of 14%. So 14% of operative procedures are delayed as a result of missing paper informed consents. And guys, that's massive. Furthermore, other research suggests that the average delay in the OR is 22 minutes. The average cost of a lost minute in the OR on the low end is $60 per minute. So let me give you an example of what this looks like when you pull it together. All right, so let's say a hospital has 10,000 surgeries a year. That means 14%, 1,400 of those are delayed. Now, let's say that each of those are delayed by the 22-minute average. That's 30,800 minutes annually. And finally, if we put a rate of $60 per minute as the value of lost time in the OR, that brings us total to, get this, $1,848,000 each year in lost productivity in the OR because of paper-based informed consent. So again, if you're looking for the reason to address a paper-based informed consent problem, this is it. All right, problem number 4, cascading OR delays. And this is common sense. If you have a delay in one surgery, that of course can affect the successive surgeries that are stacked up using the same OR. Many hospitals actually even budget for nursing overtime each year because of these successive delays. All right, so problem number 5, frustrated surgical staff. And again, this is common sense. Whenever their time in the OR is thrown off because of missing paper-based informed consent, well, naturally, they're gonna get frustrated. And many of you have even felt the piercing glare of a surgeon whenever this happens, or worse, the nurse anesthetists always wanna stay on their good side. Anyways, surgery is complicated enough, and it's extremely annoying whenever something as mundane as a paper-based process takes it off the rails. All right, that brings us to problem number 6, patient satisfaction, guys. All right, so it's the day of surgery, a patient's dressed in nothing more than their hospital gown, waiting on the gurney in the perioperative space, and they're stressed, all right? They woke up stressed. So when things start to run late, they stress out even more. And when someone comes in to tell them that they can't find their informed consent and they need to obtain another one, well, look, it's not good, all right? And when it comes to patient satisfaction, when that goes down, so can your HSCAP scores. So, of course, whenever they get finished with that too, likely they're not gonna be telling many good stories about their experience, which can harm your reputation, and you don't want that. All right, so here we are now, number 7, and I'm talking about risk. Risk is often one of those key factors that hospitals take into account when building out a business case for an electronic informed consent project. And to that end, paper-based informed consents often create risk exposure in more than a few areas, but let's just highlight one in particular. All right, again, day of surgery informed consent. This is what keeps your surgeon up at night, because ultimately we're talking about malpractice exposure. Simply put, if the informed consent for a patient has gone missing on the day of surgery and you need to obtain a new one, there's two things that can cause this risk exposure. First off, if someone who's not completely familiar with the procedure obtains the informed consent from the patient, they may not have explained that procedure and its accompanying risk as well as what the surgeon might do, and thus the patient's not completely informed and they can't give informed consent at that time. Also, it can be argued that on the day of surgery, and especially when the procedure is delayed, that the patient is in a heightened state of stress and is not able to fully understand the nature of the procedure, its risk, etc., and is then signing under duress, and they're not able to give, once again, that informed consent. So there you have it, guys. There's the 7 reasons to cut out the paper from your informed consent process and pursue an e-consent project. And if you'd like to learn more about how we can help you get there, well, we've got a form down below that you can fill out, and we're more than happy to help you wherever you are in the process. And also, if you'd like to take a look at our solutions without a sales rep on your own time, there's that big demo on demand button. Click on that and you can have a good look at our technology. So hey, thanks so much for spending your time here to check out this video. We appreciate it. If we can serve in any way whatsoever, just let us know. We're here for you. Thanks again.